Well, welcome back to the next week of the Diet Trap Solution. And we are covering chapters 7 and 8. And this is all about traps that deal with traveling, eating out, and holidays. And boy, I think all of us deal with these. And some of these things I even like carry over to different things. It was like how we had these thoughts of, oh, it's a special meal. I can loosen up, or I deserve to eat what I want. Oh, eating out should be different than eating in. And hey, it's my vacation. I shouldn't have to limit myself. And sometimes if you don't feel deprived, if you don't have certain things. So here we're talking about learning to make changes to your mindset and to plan ahead. And I know you said earlier, Melanie, that that's been something that you've been learning too, just the importance of planning ahead and how that can set you up for success.
Right.
I think that's good. Well, the first little trap she talks about is the 24/7 treat trap. That you think every meal out should be special, even when you eat out all the time. Do you guys have any challenges when you go out to eat?
Is Libby there?
Oh, absolutely. You have no idea what's in it, even though it's healthy. It may not be healthy. I mean, you just, and the calories they put up on the board or on the menu doesn't necessarily mean that that's the calories that are there. They did it in a test kitchen. So yes.
Right, it's very hard. Is it a challenge for you too, Melanie?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I tried, I shared with you earlier, I try to get online and figure out what I'm eating beforehand. Like today I went to Core Life, and it's very convicting how many calories are in the food for sure. And it can be challenging to try to figure out what you can eat.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to put my whole life on hold.
Oh, exactly. You don't want to spend too much energy just focused on food all the time too. I thought she had some good questions. She was like asking the gal, well, when was the last time you left a restaurant hungry? Probably not much. And has there ever been a time when you ordered a salad, and once the meal is over, you thought to yourself, I regret eating that. I wish I'd have had something more fattening. Like, no. But so she said she made a policy, just like you said, Melanie, to look at the online menu ahead of time and decide in advance what she was going to have. And she mentioned some things there on the bottom of 131 that, what things can make eating out pleasurable besides just the food. And I thought she had some good ideas on that kind of stuff. It must come to your mind. You're enjoying your company. Hey, it's nice to have somebody else do the cooking, cleaning, and serving.
Yeah.
Trying a new place, admiring the decor, people watching. So some other little benefits. I thought, well, if we can put our focus on some of those things instead of just the things that, oh man, I really wish I could have that, and then afterwards regretting it. And on 133, she said, even just having a general plan. So if you can't access the menu, having some kind of a general plan is good. I thought it was interesting too. She tells you to be the first one to place your order. Have you ever thought about that?
No, I hadn't. Yeah, but that makes sense.
Yeah. Any of those other things kind of stand out to you guys?
Now, one of the things I do, and I think it really works, is, to make sure that because everything's so huge, that I either put it in a to-go to begin with, or make sure I only eat a small portion, which is good. And when I bring it home, I don't eat it again. I end up throwing it out. So, so I only get a portion of it if it's not a good thing.
That's good. So that's a good plan to have, so because you're right, they serve you massive amount.
Well, sometimes you can ask for half plate or half portion, but they don't always accommodate that. I found that out too.
I know. Sometimes they charge you just about as much for the half portion as the whole portion. And it's like, So if it's something you'll eat later, it doesn't make any sense to pay anymore if you're not going to eat it later. But it's like, oh, well.
Right.
How about the bottom there? Number 2 is the cleanup crew trap. You eat food from other people's plates. And you guys, families, do you find yourself doing that?
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. Especially when you're younger.
You do too, Libby, huh? Yeah. I thought you had some good guidelines there. Does that kind of help you at all to think, okay, no fries? I thought it was interesting. She ordered her own order of fries so she knew what she could have. But, well, I don't know. I'd rather steal a couple off my plate.
Now, if I ordered my own, I'd be more likely to eat them all. I don't know. But
I know. That's what I thought too. And it's like, and I feel bad. I don't want to eat too many of my nieces and steal hers. But I'm like, okay. And I'm not there that much. So it's not like I go out all that often with her. But I just want one of those.
One taste. Just one.
I know. It's like, hey, they're going to trash it anyway. The third trap is the limited food options trap, that you don't have control over your food, like while you're on a trip. And sometimes it is hard. You go someplace and you have to kind of, whatever they're serving is kind of what you do. I mean, you can cover some of your meals there, but is that anything that challenges you, or you go places where you kind of have to eat what's being served?
Well, when you go to somebody's house or party, yeah.
Okay.
On soccer trips, the group usually chooses a place, or, it's really my daughter and my grandson. I'm just there to tag along. So I try to look again at the menu beforehand and choose something, but if there's not a good choice, you have to choose the least, the worst, the best of the worst, I guess.
Lesser of the evils.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting too, even if you have a plan, like this guy said, they had to prepare him for sabotaging thoughts he might have when he saw other people eating the conference snacks. Because I'll go in and have a plan. We had a women's event at church Friday night, and I thought I had a plan and I had it all set, but I saw that stuff sitting there, and before I knew it, I'd pop some dumb stuff in my mouth that, yeah, it tasted good at the time, but not as bad as I feel that I did it, because I just I didn't need to do that to myself. So, and I liked on 139 there, that card that she wrote was, remember, even though I don't always have control over what food is served to me, I always have control over what I put in my mouth. Stick to the plan and I'll feel good. So if I'd have had that little card going through my brain, I might have. They had me playing piano, and I was kind of glad, because most of the night my hands, while they were eating, most of the time my hands were busy. So that helped to minimize some of what the potential damage could have been. Sometimes. But she gives you some good ideas about when you're traveling on 140 there, just to bring healthy snacks. And, I like the idea of covering the food. So if you're someplace that actually, like if they have a mini bar in your room, which I don't usually stay at places that are that fancy, but, covering it so that it's like, and you walk and get some exercise in.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was good. And 141, the number 4 is the Vegas mindset trap. What I eat on vacation stays on vacation. Yep. So thinking, man, we're on vacation, we can just loosen up. But she realized that unrestrained eating didn't feel completely good. She actually felt guilty quite a lot. Yeah. It's true. It's like, oh, man. And what she says here on 143, I feel better in control and worse when I'm out of control. And it's like, so I need to get better. I need to take the time. I haven't gone and really written out these cards. I'm going to go back. I got all these underlines. I said, I think I'm going to be living in this book for a while. There's so much good stuff. And it's just kind of like, it really does take kind of repeating and that repetition to make these we've spent how many years and decades ingraining these other thought processes and got those to be so natural. So it takes a while, and it's going to be a process to get these new patterns and thoughts to really be here and be a lifestyle change.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I haven't taken a lot of time to write anything, like any cards down. I'm just trying to get caught up most of the time. But, I think it'll be great, like when we go on vacation, review this chapter and write some things down. And
exactly.
Mindset.
Yeah, I think it's a good resource. And if you've got those things, and we keep reminding ourselves what we really want, and that advantages list, need to keep reading that thing. I've got it written down, and I don't think I've pulled it out all week. Thought about it, but it's like, okay, so I need to get better at those little things. Any thoughts on the vacation?
I like the idea. I'm sorry.
No, go, Libby.
I like the idea what you said. In a reference thing, a lot of this was taught in Weight Watchers, but this is kind of a reference, the reminder, and really start to change those habits versus hearing it once. So this is good.
Yep, I think it is too. It's just like repeat. It's like, strengthen those weak muscles. Let's see. Number 5 is the unreasonably strict eating plan trap. You make eating plans that are too difficult to follow. Well, you know what? And it's like, at least I know with the plan that we're doing, they've made it pretty simple. So that's the good thing, is it's just got to do it. So that's not hard. But I know there have been things over the years that I've tried that have been so complicated, your brain just blows up, and they're just not sustainable. You can't, it's not a lifestyle if you can't, do something. I know this gal at the bottom of 146, she talks about when they return from vacation. She said that's a problem. You get home and you're so tired. So she prepared stuff in advance. So when she got home, like her lean and green meals or her healthy stuff was there at the house waiting for her in the freezer. So she didn't have to worry about meal prep getting back. And then she also committed that she was going to get on that scale the next morning no matter what. And I think that's where a lot of us over the years, it's like, I know I didn't want to get on the scale. And it's like, I wouldn't get on the scale for, I don't know, months on end, and all of a sudden I'd be up 50, 60 pounds. And how in the world you can put that much weight on and not know it or not acknowledge it? But there's something about your brain that just kind of shuts off.
I've been there so many times, Susan.
I think it's something. Yeah, Libby, go ahead.
If I just said yep.
Oh, okay.
Just yep.
You say something that kind of lit up, like, okay, I don't want to go speak up anytime. Any other thoughts about the section there about the travel and eating out traps? Anything else stand out to you?
It's just really hard, when you're traveling and you're out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. I like what she put on 150. I didn't underline quite as much in these chapters for some reason, but I did like the bold point. If you get off track while you're away on vacation, won't it actually make the trip worse? So, that's something to think about.
That's true. Like we always think, we're treating ourselves, but maybe we're really mistreating ourselves. And it's kind of like,
right.
I don't feel as good when I'm not eating healthy. It's not just that, I'm cheating or anything. It's just, I don't feel good if I'm not eating healthy. It's like, I feel so much better. So like, it's good. All right. On to the holidays. It's sounding like a holiday outside. I hear it pelting on my window. I don't know if we really got snow coming in or not. It'll look like Christmas in the morning. You think you'll be happy if you let yourself eat freely. But is that really true? Think about the outcomes of a loss of control, guilt, lower self-esteem, a drop in confidence, and an increase in weight will certainly put a damper on your celebrations. On the other hand, if you learn how to stay in control, you'll probably enjoy the holidays much more. If you prepare for those common traps, you can escape them. It's almost like you talked about the vacation thing. Just, it's not as much fun when you have all that regret and all that other stuff weighing you down. So the first trap on her holidays was the YOLO, the you only live once trap. You use the holidays as an excuse to eat whatever you want. And what stood out to you in that
But,
trap?
you know, yeah, but one of the things in the, you know, the you only live once, I mean, why is it that we only have those good things at Christmas? I mean, if you think about it, we could have it any time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it isn't as if we don't have it at Christmas. It isn't if we can't have it any other time either. So we make it so special, and it's really not.
That's true.
Yeah, the end of the year from like Halloween on, wow. It's just
Yeah.
one party after the next.
Yep, it's one thing after another, isn't it? I know in 153, the gal says, I just don't want to have to think about eating. And then the leader said, I asked her whether or not thinking about what she was eating was working for her. And that's true. It's like, okay, or they're not thinking about what was working for her. Yeah, when we don't think about it, dangerous. And
I liked how she said, I want to start, when she was giving her advantages list on number 10 was, I'll start the new year in a happy place. I'm like, wow, I don't think it's ever happened for me. Always feeling guilty for the indulgences and undoing the good work. You know, I don't want to undo all my good work.
See, that's so true. Yep. Like,
And do we really start in the new year? If we mess up, do we really start?
Yeah.
You know.
What do you want to say to yourself if you begin to feel tired of thinking about your eating? So I thought it was interesting, if you're starting to have that thought about, I'm tired of thinking about my eating, well, what do you want to tell yourself? And ends up that last line says, either way, you'll be thinking about it. So it's like, whether you think you're not thinking about while you're eating it, you'll be thinking about it afterwards. So one way or another, you're going to be thinking about it, and how you're thinking about it may vary.
I highlighted that too.
And it's like, hey, well, I thought, making a plan. And I know if you go with somebody else, see if they'll hold you accountable. Say, hey, I plan to have one thing. And because sometimes if you have somebody else that's going to kind of help get your back, not that you want them ratting on you or going, you shouldn't have that. But, somebody's just looking out for your best interest to encourage you.
Yeah. I've talked to Chad about that many times. My husband, because he'll get the YOLO thing going. Like we went a couple weeks ago to our friend's house and they got donuts. And he sat there, ate 3 of them in front of me. And I was so mad. The next day I just said, honey, I thought we were holding each other accountable. So we had this long talk about it because, we can't do that anymore. You can't just eat whatever you want. And it was also just, it was a stumbling block for me because that donuts are a trigger food for sure. But he just shoved his face. I'm like, what are you doing? So yeah, you need that accountability partner. I totally get that.
After eating 3 donuts, I think he'd be feeling kind of sluggish and crappy the next day.
Well, he was. I'm sure he was. Yeah.
Admit it, right? But it's like, that's hard. And it is tough when all these other people, I know that some of these women events, like, well, they can have all this stuff. Why can't I? Well, because maybe they aren't dealing with the same problem that I got. It's like, like they don't have the same goals. And she says on there, it's not all or nothing. So it is that kind of, who was it? Somebody was just went on vacation, one of my clients. She goes, they were on a cruise. And she goes, yeah, my husband got like this cheesecake that looked really, really good. So I had 1 bite and I enjoyed it. That's what it is. It's like, learning how to just enjoy it, but not have to have the whole pie. Mm-hmm. And that's always the hard thing. He says that sugar, once you start eating it, you just gonna keep on eating it. And it's like, okay, but if we can set it and learn how to, it's not all or nothing, and you can have it. It's not a deprivation thing. It's not that you can't have it. You always have a choice. I think that's kind of the mindset shift that it got me through the first holidays, especially knowing my sister, I love her Buckeyes and stuff she makes at Christmas, and she has it everywhere. That first Christmas, I didn't touch any of it because I knew that I was making some major changes, and I just kept telling myself, I'm not saying no forever. I'm just saying no for now, and I will be able to have these again, but just not right now. And and I get a bigger goal in mind. And that really helped me to kind of get through. If I just get my brain to flip back on that way, I'll be doing so much better. It's like, come on, Susan. It's like, getting it going there.
Well,
The
and
next one. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. With we could have those anytime, right? That if there's a time we want to have some other time, not Christmas, it's okay. We can make that choice because it's not gone forever. I think that's what I was trying to say.
Right. Yeah.
But also those things, and maybe they can always do it, but they may not be healthy, as we've been taught, right?
Exactly. Yeah, there can be some people that look skinny on the outside, but they're a mess in the inside. So it's not always about what they look like, and either. The next little trap's the wall-to-wall treat trap. You can't avoid the holiday foods in the office kitchen. But that also made me think, not just there, but, that's at your school. And I was thinking about my friends that are teachers and those teachers' lounges and everything else. I know nurses had that where people were bringing in all these candies and sweets and treats for them. You go to small groups and you're stuck at church and there's all this stuff. The women's ministry thing, there's stuff every place. And I thought, man, she said, middle 155, I know that if there's something I really want, I can bring some home and have it after dinner. Because she set a rule up for herself that said no junk food before dinner. I just can't have it at that moment. Knowing 100% that I'm not going to have junk food at the office makes my day so much easier. So there is something about figure out what does that plan for you that's, I'm not having this before this time, and maybe then by the time if you did bring it home, you wouldn't want it anyway, or you may change your mind and maybe it's past, and you still have a choice. And for those people that are the pushy ones that are trying to get you to eat that cake or whatever too, it's like they don't know what you do with it. They're satisfied that you took some, but they don't know what you do with it. Doesn't mean you have to put it in your mouth, and it's like hitting it all in there. You can wear a bag to the office tomorrow, Melanie, just like the cake is dropping. That's what they're doing there. Well, and she was talking too, and this is like my thing too, at the very bottom of 156, talking about that no junk food rule at the office. He says, I know that if I did have a treat at the office, I might not be satisfied with just one, and I might want to keep on eating, and that's where I get. It's like once I open that door, it's very hard to really just do it, especially if there's all these trays of stuff sitting there, and it's just, oh my gosh, you have it all. Crazy.
I didn't understand that at first, this whole taking it home, but then I'm like, I get it, because if you start eating it there, if you give yourself permission to eat there, there's more there to get into. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense, because if you just take one piece home, that's all you'll have.
Yep. Because I can remember that at the office going through, and every time you'd go in for some water or anything else, you pick out a little bit more, or you pick up another piece, or.
Oh yeah, mindless eating. Yeah.
Yep. And it's like we don't tend to think of adding all those up, and oh boy, it adds up quick. Oh. Adds on, packs right on to the butt in the gut. Ugh.
Butt in the gut.
It lands on me, I'll tell you. Oh. So number 3 is the fit in foodie trap. You tell yourself it's okay because everyone else is doing it. And I said, that's hard sometimes because, hey, your husband's eating those donuts. It's like, well, he can have them.
Yeah.
So good job, Melanie. You exercise your resistance muscle.
Yeah, there's definitely something to that. Exercising that muscle. I'm starting to understand that a little bit more. It's not necessarily about depriving yourself or having willpower. It's a muscle you have to develop. Yeah.
Well, and then you go, yay, Melanie, good job. And you got to give yourself those kudos because she talked about that in an earlier chapter of just really, we did those things and you're strengthening them. It's like, go, yes, good job, good.
Yeah.
Remembering that. And with that little card she's got 158, what anyone else is eating is irrelevant. The fact that it's a holiday season or a birthday or you name it is irrelevant. I have to focus, or I need to focus on what I have to do to avoid gaining weight. Holiday calories are the same as all other calories. If I eat extra treats, I'll gain weight. It isn't true that it's okay to eat this because it's a holiday. It's not okay if my goal is to maintain my weight. And I thought, okay, yep. Like, oh. And I said, most dieters get to the point where they don't regret, they don't end up regretting the food they didn't eat. They only regret the extra food they did eat. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, in the moment, it doesn't seem like that. It seems like it could be focusing on, oh man, I wish I'd have had that cream pie or ice cream or whatever it was. But really, if they didn't have it, you wouldn't be thinking about it the next day. Or if you had a bunch of it, you probably would be going, oh, why did I do that? Now I got to get these extra 3 pounds off, whatever. Mm-hmm. That's cool. So it's a good reminder of that kind of stuff. Anything else stand out or any other thoughts on that section? Well, the number 4 one is the before the big day trap. You get loose with your eating even before the holiday starts. So I would think a lot of that has to do with the food prep and as you're cooking and stuff. And I've got a client starting who, like, her first question is like, I got 12 people coming for Easter. How am I supposed to do this? And it's like, it's a true thing, but it's like, if you think through it, you can figure out some options. On that one, I didn't underline a whole lot about. Did you guys?
I did on one. I can't remember. On 160, the next to last paragraph, she says, I hated gaining weight and undoing all my hard work, but it's such a strong pattern with me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I start to get looser with my eating day before things, whenever the day is. It is a very strong pattern.
Yeah. Well, and it is. It's kind of like those old family traditions, and you just kind of go through those motions of stuff. No.
And unfortunately, it's not just one day, right? If we're eating before or if we're eating during, and if we have it at our house, we have the leftovers. So it's not just one day, it's a whole series of days, and then you start it over again for Christmas. I mean, if it was just one day, I think we'd be okay, but it's not.
It's a wonder the pounds add up. And like, Susan said, I wouldn't get on the scale because I just kept trying to get away with it. And I didn't get away with it.
We kind of fool ourselves into thinking that. I thought she said she had different little things there on 163, and I thought it was interesting to put tempting party foods in grocery bags, even the ones in the refrigerator, until just a few minutes before the guests arrive to minimize your exposure to them. So basically just that whole out of sight, out of mind. If I have stuff sitting out on my counters, I'm much more likely to pick at them and eat at them. But if I'm not seeing them, it's going to be a whole lot more work to have to dig through those bags to get into them. So I thought, well, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And she got number 5. The perfectionista trap. You spend too much time and energy to make everything just so. And just recognize if you don't make any changes, you'll have the same outcome as always. Create some new holiday traditions. Let some people help you and not have to take it all on. So I thought she had some good points in there. Mm-hmm. And
well, yeah, and that you don't necessarily need to always have the traditional dishes. You can mix it up. Because I know what that's like, the kids expect, oh, but we have this every year and I want this. They do. That tradition of the holidays is definitely strong.
Yeah. I know Lisa has very regularly substituted mashed potatoes with the smashed cauliflower. And now her family requests the cauliflower. They really like it. So I'm sure the first change was in there. Or, I just made the corned beef and cabbage. I don't know if you saw the video I did on Facebook, but use radishes instead of red potatoes. You don't even know. It's amazing. So there's like all these little swaps in there that, they're a little different, but it doesn't make me, it fills that void, and it's like, hey, you don't feel bad afterwards. Like, yay. Now, number 6 is the big day trap. You overeat on the holiday itself. And I know I just kind of highlighted that card she's got on 166. Remember, I have a strong tendency to fool myself. I think I'll have 1 or 2 more things and then stop, but I don't. This year will be different. This time, if I want seconds, I'm going to fix myself a second plate and save it for dinner. Thought, well, that's an interesting way to go, too, if you want to make sure you don't miss out on that extra little step there. Of course, the next one was the post-holiday trap. So you have trouble staying on track afterwards, or returning to your healthy eating plan after you've been taking a lot of detours in there.
Mm-hmm.
And anything else on those things stand out for you guys, or any other stuff in the holiday section that was helpful for you?
On 170, I like how she talked, because I'm pretty bad about taking, excuse me, a few bites here and there. Just tell myself, oh, it's not a big deal. But like she was saying, it's an unhelpful habit. It's that whole resistance muscle. It's like forcing myself to stop doing that, because it is. And then it gives me carte blanche, to do it all the time. It's amazing how well this is done, but like fixing Pearson's peanut butter sandwich in the morning, I'd always lick the knife, get a big old scoop of peanut butter. That's really challenging not to do that.
Well, yeah, it is. Ah. Is that a struggle with you, any of those things in there, Libby?
Oh, I struggle with everything. I was just,
me too.
What I do like, I'm doing very well with, substituting when they come to my house, substituting things and not telling people, and they don't really notice the difference. So, that's one of the things I like to do, and it's working.
That's great.
Like someone said cauliflower, I don't do that, but I substitute like fat-free instead of whole on, certain things.
Yeah.
All those little changes, and like you said, they wouldn't even know, and if you don't make any big deal of it, they probably wouldn't have a clue, or it's like, hey, oh man, I forgot to make those rolls this year. So sorry. Oh, whatever it is. All right. Well, hey, we're making it through here, you guys. Woohoo!
Oh.
Next week is the universal traps. How we all get trapped, which I think that's been the whole first half of the book too. So this one's about psychological traps and getting off track traps. So it's like, hey, and I don't know, it's like, what do you think? There's like, it's got, because then there's like this at the end, there's like a connect, well, that's a connect with us, that's not it. There's a conclusion too that's a few more pages. Do you want to split those up some way, or do we want to just like go and barrel through and finish the book up next week?
Because there was 2 more chapters and then a conclusion.
Yeah. And I mean, the conclusion is like it's like 10 pages for the conclusion. And it's like either that, or we could do one chapter.
The psychological traps was my highest issue. So I don't know if we do one and then finish up 2 the next time, or try to do it all. I don't care. Either way.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me either. It's like either which way. I mean, we could do it, have a little bit more flexibility, and we could like do like the psychological traps, chapter 9 next week, and then the following week do 10 and then conclusion.
Sounds good.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
And I'll give you a little time this next week to do chapter 9, but give us some time to go back and maybe review some of that other stuff that we want to keep on working on, and get more chance to read those advantages lists, and then we'll be done in a couple there. Sounds good. Awesome.